Yup. All right, party people. I am heading home from work. Just had a phenomenal day. And now we're getting ready to go work out at the gym. Had a super locked in, focused day, you know. Stayed on top of everything I was supposed to get done, which is always a good feeling. Now is the time to lock in. And it does help, you know, when you kind of know exactly what you're gonna work out on instead of having to kind of like just think about it and stuff. So I got a plan set up. I had searched on ChatGPT like what was the optimal workout routine to build the most muscle, and it gave me just like a plan, like every day, you know, day one, day it was more like, you know, push pull splits type of stuff. And I never really did a structured routine like that because I was good just kind of following my own flow, you know. Very consistent, built very good, you know, muscle and physique, just doing, you know, learning, you know, on my own, picking up tips here and there, but kind of just sticking with a, you know, a solid routine that I could think of on my own as far as the best exercises. So the interesting thing is the ChatGPT thing doesn't have like many additional exercises for muscles and lifting weights that I wasn't already doing. It was a couple of new ones, but for the most part I was doing everything, but it did give me more of a structured plan in terms of like the reps and stuff like that, because in a sense I'm doing my best there, but I'm kind of guessing in a way, you know, because I'm not necessarily a professional with this, you know. But yeah, it helps, like, because I've been thinking about, you know, all day like what I'm gonna be doing. And it really helps because I'm doing legs today. That's a tougher type of day. You know, my calf is hurting a little bit. I kind of strained it. So I'm working on healing it, but I'm not going to skip the leg day just because I can kind of be kind of mindful of like being careful of the spot on my calf. Because it's not totally injured, just a little strained. So I've learned that when I have like minor injuries, whether it's like knee or ankle or something, like I actually heal better when I continue training instead of just trying to like sit the whole day out or sit out until I feel healed. Like I've learned that the body is never really going to be like, oh yeah, I'm healed like 100%. Like, you know, you kind of got to get the body moving so it can kind of jumpstart its healing, you know what I mean? So you gon', you know, or else you're gonna have aches and pains, you know, for all of eternity, you know what I'm saying? Forever. It just be like that. So that's what I'm trying to do. I think what I planned on doing is two things that's gonna help me with this workout. Like, for one, like I said, it's just having it at the forefront of my mind, like, yo, I'm about to do some hard shit and I'm about to lock in so I can get this done. So I would be like, what I would plan to do, like if I wasn't recording right now, looking through the camera, like kind of talking through it so I could hold myself accountable, I would probably look myself in the mirror and kind of get my supplements ready and just like having that accountability of like, yeah, we about to do this. Because if not, it's easy to skip. It's easy to skip leg day as a hard day, especially, you know, if your legs already feeling sore or still feeling sore from a last workout. So it's something you got to push yourself to do, because just because something is hard, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. You know what I mean? And it's like, when you start to get routines, the only downside of having a routine, like I said, I looked up one and got a solid, you know, push-pull day, this type of day, leg day. When you have a routine, sometimes it can be so rigid that your brain already is thinking about all that is entails, and you're going to be like kind of psyching yourself out or opting out of it in a sense, just because, you know, it's just so much to think about, you know, when really, if you break it down piece by piece, you look at your plan and you just start, just go through the reps, just go through the motions, you know what I'm saying? One rep at a time, and just feel, you know, push through that pain and feel the pain, you know what I mean? and go along with it, you know, because that's really where you're going to triumph. That's really where you're going to find the most kind of mental benefits to this working out stuff. Is just when you push through those hard days. So really, this is just part of it, you know, part of life, part of the workout thing. It's just pushing through when it gets real difficult. So, but I think that would have been a new thing for me, is just as soon as I'm getting home, you know what I'm saying, I'm getting ready, whether I'm gonna get something to eat or not, probably, because I was feeling hungry before I even left work. So I don't want to go into it with no fuel, but I also don't want to do something that's going to take me so much time and so much like out of my routine that it's going to like kind of slow my momentum in a sense, because I'm already hyped up enough to be able to just jump right in. So if I feel like, okay, me sitting down and eating a whole meal is going to really push me back, you know what I mean? So I'm going to try this mirror trick. I think, well, technically if I record, I won't need to do it, but that's what I would have planned to do, is do this mirror trick in terms of trying to hold myself accountable. Because first of all, you know, a lot of people do it. A lot of people, you know, you see people who have great physiques and work out a lot, and, you know, they do so much, but they also record their content where they're talking to their, you know, their audience or their following. And although they're giving value and, you know, putting out content, it also helps them. Like, it helps when you can, you know, look at a camera and hold yourself accountable, you know, for doing a hard workout, you know what I mean? Versus when you're just there alone trying to muster up the energy, you know what I'm saying, or the mental fortitude to get the workout completed, you know what I'm saying? So, oh dang, it got dark right here. There's no lights on these roads, huh? Let me see if I turn on a little light. All right, bet. So yeah, you know, and then some people have the benefit of you know, they got workout buddies, workout partners, stuff like that, you know what I mean? Or they go to an actual gym that has, you know, a lot of people there. So that helps you when you're like in that type of environment to push yourself and hold yourself accountable to what you know you should do. Most people know what they should do. They know the type of effort they're supposed to be putting in on a hard workout day, you know what I mean? But sometimes we can sell ourselves short and tell ourselves, yeah, I'm maxed out. Yeah, I maxed out. You know, I went to failure. Yeah, all right. You know what I mean? It's like a mental trick, you know? So for me, you know, I work out in a gym in my complex. It's often empty. So I've trained for the past 4 years alone, probably 95% of the time, you know. And what I noticed though is when I actually did go and work out at someone else's gym, when there was more people, or have a workout partner every small, you know, blue moon, I realized that I took that as an opportunity to really, you know, utilize the accountability that having someone else provides. Because it's like, I can give you responsibility. If I choose to be like, okay, I'm used to working out alone, so I don't have nobody, right? But if I'm working out with you now, I can use you to hold me accountable. Just in my own mind, I'm like, yeah, they watching, you know what I'm saying? So I know I'm gonna make sure I push myself, because this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Something about other people helps put ourselves in alignment and helps us to stay accountable. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I feel as though I had to maneuver around this truck real quick, you know what I'm saying, while I'm in the traffic. You feel what I'm saying? Talk and drive, you feel me? So you know, so I think accountability is amazing, you know what I mean? Like having a partner, having somebody to push you. But you know, if you don't have it, you got to figure it out, you know what I mean? But I definitely I feel like because I never really have anybody to work out with or hold me accountable. I'm so used to finding ways to, you know, amp myself up and give me energy and hold me accountable and for me to lock myself in. So I got a whole tool bag of tricks that I try when I don't feel motivated or I don't feel like doing it, or you know what I'm saying, or how to push myself to the max. But I still know even with someone else, I still could go to another level. But the downside of always working out with people, you know what I'm saying, or always, you know, in like a public gym, is like you kind of like are thinking about what everybody's thinking about you in a sense. So like if you're new to working out, like you're gonna be scared to try new stuff, or you're gonna kind of be a little bit self-conscious about certain stuff, you know what I mean? And another downside is you could kind of ego lift in a sense. When it's just like, when it's just you there, it's like, I'm not about to ego lift, it's just me. But again, when I did work out at other people's gyms, I did notice when I had people around, my leg, especially my leg day, I pushed it to another level. And I was taking way less breaks in between. Like I was kind of doing all of the stuff that I know you're supposed to do from what I see, you know, from other, you know, fitness experts in the industry and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So it has, you know, it's pros and cons. You know what I'm saying? I would do both. I would do both. I would always do both, because sometimes, you know, being by yourself gets you that opportunity to kind of lock in a sense of like, it's kind of like a spiritual thing. It's just like you're there, you kind of focused in, and that time is for you to really push yourself. And so it's more like the gym is like a sanctuary in a sense, you know what I'm saying? But again, some people would go to the gym, you know, like a public gym, you know, where they got their, you know, workout partner, and they do a lot of talking and chit-chatting and stuff like that. So it's just like you're not necessarily maximizing your focus. So pros and cons, but yeah, that's pretty much the journey and kind of the new things I'm trying. So I want to, you know, put out some more content, document some more stuff in my life, and just, you know, share more information that could probably help other people who want to get involved in this, you know, in this game. So what I plan to do is, you know, once I get home and I figure out my plan as far as my food situation, I'm just gonna hop right back on the camera so that I can go ahead and lock in, take my supplements, my pre-workout, get everything ready, and then we lock in, you know, on the camera, and we just go ahead and get right to it. You know what I'm saying? Get into that mode. I don't know if I could get into that mode with y'all there, but I think what I'm gonna do is, what I notice is that some people, you know, when they get in their workouts in, they got their headphones on listening to music while they're recording, which means that they either got a second cell phone or they got an actual camera there. So that's going to be new for me. I do got another cell phone. I gotta look for it real quick, but I think that's what I'm gonna do, so that I can have my music still on and stuff like that, and I can stay locked in. You feel what I'm saying? And I can share with y'all some of the stuff I be listening to. I can share with y'all some of the supplements I be using, and I'll share with y'all the regimen that I'm on. You know what I'm saying? So you could, you know, if you pull up any tips, you know what I'm saying, or, you know, I just give you guys a little bit of you know, a little bit of knowledge and information, and we build and grow together. You know what I'm saying? Because I learn from a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? I learn from a lot of people. I learned from your boy, what's it, Sam Sulik, Michael Hearn. I just be watching people, and the thing about it is, I don't watch people and try to copycat everything they doing. Sometimes I just observe a little bit, and it just be in the back of my mind what they're talking about, so that as I go through and go to the gym and try stuff out, and I'm doing my own stuff that I'm thinking about, sometimes one of those things will pop back in my mind, and then I might try it out. You know what I mean? Because if you're always trying like every single thing that you see from other influencers, like it's gonna be so hard to actually get stuff done, because everything is gonna be brand new. Like, you're gonna be trying so much new stuff. You're gonna be trying to do the proper form, and it's just like, that's just, I mean, hey, it might work for some people, but that's just, for me, it's like I would rather, you know, try to do my own thing and, you know, get at least a good workout in on my terms. And then maybe one of the exercises, you know what I'm saying, or maybe some of the reps, I'll do it how they saying it. But I like to make sure I'm locked in too, because if you're thinking about the form and all of that stuff too much, sometimes it kind of takes away your focus and your intensity in a sense, you know what I mean? And so sometimes it's like, I'm like, well, especially because I've been doing it on my own for so long, I'm like, well, I've been having success in this area, so it's like, what's really gonna be smart about changing that, you know what I mean? But I think that's a big part of my experience with doing this gym stuff, is that, you know, I kind of just got started. It's just like, you know, when I got started, I just kind of knew like what to do in a sense. Like I just knew that, okay, you grab some dumbbells, you do some bicep curls. Like nobody had to teach me that. Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't remember, like I just knew that, whether it's from watching TV shows or what, like, cause I never did that before. But I just, you know, over time, you know, you grow up, you know, as a man or a boy or whatever, and you probably be in some scenarios where you see somebody with some kind of equipment like that or something like that, you know, like everybody knows the basics, right? Like sit-ups, push-ups. We do certain stuff in PE class and stuff in high school or whatever. So it's just like you kind of learn some stuff, and then once you start going, I think, like for me, I didn't necessarily need a plan to start. I just kind of started. And then I just got better and better and better, and learned more and more and more over time from my own experience of like trying to do the stuff, instead of always trying to like look up like what's the fastest way to gain muscle, or what's the best way to do this, or I just did it. Like I just tried it, like, you know what I mean? And I developed a routine based on me trying stuff. Like majority of the stuff I was doing, like I was not looking it up and researching it, but again, you kind of absorb the content sometimes, and the knowledge just be there in your brain, like, you know, and it just comes out when it needs to. You feel what I'm saying? It just makes sense when it makes sense. It just clicks at a certain point, you know? Because like for me, when I first got into this fitness thing, which was like 4 years ago, since I've been working out like very consistent, five days a week or more, what I first started doing was on my Instagram, I followed page after page after page of influencers who did fitness. So I would go follow one, and then, you know, they give you the suggestions after that, and then I would just keep follow. Especially I'll go to their page and I'm like, oh, you post every day? I'm like, yeah, because I wanted to surround myself with that image of working out, so that it was in the forefront of my brain. I kept seeing it. I wanted it to be a trigger to make me be like, oh yeah, let's go work out, because I wanted it to shape my identity in a way so I could become somebody who works out often, you know? So in a sense, I shaped my environment. You feel what I'm saying? It's like, if you want to stay motivated, it's like if you hung up a kind of picture on your wall that had a saying or a quote or something that keep you motivated, you know, it's likely that when you see that, it's gonna like kind of get you to lock in a little bit. And that's what I did when I first started. I followed page after page after page, like nothing but fitness influencers. And if it wasn't that, it was like people doing business and people doing, you know, running, or people who inspired me in terms of people who I wanted to be like, some of the stuff they was doing. That's kind of how I got started. So I had so much information, so many things, so many workouts. If I wanted to try a whole bunch of different workouts, I could try a whole bunch of different workouts. But you know what I'm saying? So I just had stuff at the back of my mind, but I kept it simple when I first started. I kept it real simple. You know what I'm saying? Like I might do, you know what I'm saying? I might hop on the ground, do some push-ups, do a few sets of those, do some sit-ups. I might do some bicep curls. You know what I'm saying? Might go for a run or something. Keep it simple, but keep it structured. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes the structure helps. So even if you're doing something new, you can say, okay, I'm gonna do 5 of these. I'm gonna do it 3 times, 5 of these. Then you be like, oh, I'm not even sore from, like, that ain't even do nothing. Let me do a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? And you kind of feel yourself out, especially with new exercises. You kind of feel yourself out in terms of like how much weight or how many reps is actually gonna be beneficial in terms of what's your capacity. You know what I'm saying? And then that way, from there, you can progressively increase and improve, and that's how you make the gains. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how, you know, I've been on it. But again, I've gone so long, and this is probably, I'm probably like maybe 1 or 2 months into this Chat GPT plan. You know what I'm saying? Which would be the equivalent of basically kind of like hiring a trainer in a sense, somebody like giving me an actual workout regimen. Because, you know, I always used to hear people be like, what's your splits? You know, push, pull. And I'd be like, man, I ain't doing that. I ain't doing all of that. Like, I used to actually break it down. Like, I used to, when I was at my, like, after I had got consistent for about a year or two, what I used to do is, I would just pick a particular body part every day to work. So I'm like, all right, I'm doing chest today. And I didn't have to have 10,000 exercises for one body. I could just do straight up bench press for chest and be done for the day. You know what I'm saying? I get like 4 sets in and be done. And tomorrow I'll come and do the bicep curls. Next day, I might do tricep pull downs. Next day, I might do legs. Next day, I'll do back. You feel what I'm saying? And like I said, with legs, I might just do squats. You know what I'm saying? With back, I might just do the little the lat pull down machine. You feel what I'm saying? And then I started adding stuff as I went along. Because when you have a simple regimen, it's easier to add new stuff because you've been doing the same thing for a long time, the basics, right? And you got a good solid foundation. And you've been doing it so long, so you got the habits built in so that when you add the new thing, it don't make your whole plan come crashing down. Because that's what can happen when you try to add too much new stuff at one time. You know what I mean? So because I kept it simple, you know what I'm saying? I could do the cable flies for the chest, but that's an accessory. Like that ain't, you know what I'm saying? To me, that ain't the bread and butter of what I think is building my chest. I think the bench press is the best thing for it. Now, did I kind of have some variations after a while? Because you hear about, okay, incline bench is better. You know what I'm saying? So after a while, yeah, I probably did switch it up, you know, and start doing the inclines. Then I was like, well, you know what? Actually, I was seeing some gains with the flat bench. Let me go back. Let me do both now. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but it's okay to like kind of just get started and not worry too much about whether or not you're doing the right thing and stuff like that. Like, because again, the main thing is to get in there. The main thing is that you got in there, and that getting your foot in the door is more beneficial than anything because it's going to help build your discipline. And that's what people need more than anything. Like showing up. You know what I'm saying? Like so many people miss out on gains because they ain't really like showing up. You feel what I'm saying? All right, I'm home now, so I'm gonna lock back in with y'all once I come on the once I get all my supplements and everything ready, and I'm in the mirror ready to lock in and get this shit going. So I'm gonna come back through y'all.